Welcome back to IFS Meditations and Insights. I'm Tim Fortescue, your guide on this journey toward wholeness through the lens of internal family systems. Together, we're creating a sacred space to explore, accept, and love all parts of ourselves. As we do this work, we open ourselves to experiencing divine love and living more authentically. Let's begin. In this session, I want to talk about something that many of us might do every single night without giving it much thought. We end our day with our phone. I know I do, and I'm going to see if I can put some of this into practice that we talk about today. But if you're like me, you may scroll or check one more thing, watch a reel, then another reel, and 6 more reels. And then we put the phone down, roll over, and wonder why we feel disconnected, why we feel empty, and why sleep may not come easily. Here's what I want to offer all of us today. What if the reason we reach for the phone at the end of the day isn't laziness, isn't a lack of discipline, but is actually a part of us trying to solve a real problem? And what if there's a more satisfying solution available, one that actually gives our parts what they're looking for? That's what we're going to look into a little bit in this session. So let's start with what's actually happening when we pick up the phone at night. From an IFS perspective, there's a part that reaches for the phone, and that part has a job. Usually, the job is something like help us not feel what we're feeling, create a buffer between the intensity of the day and the vulnerability of sleep. Give us something, anything that feels like a reward after hours of output. That's a protector, often a firefighter. And it's not broken, it's not bad. It's doing something important. It's saying, you had a hard day. You gave a lot. Here, let me numb you just enough so you don't have to process all of that before bed. And this is one example, one experience. There are many. The problem isn't that the part exists. The problem is that the strategy often doesn't actually work. Now, sometimes it does. I'm not beating up on our firefighters. Sometimes we need what we're doing. But at the end, often we don't feel rested. We don't feel connected to ourselves. Sometimes I just get a blah, like, why can't I stop doing this kind of feeling? Often we feel further away. And the parts that were already carrying something from the day, they often go unwitnessed. They go to sleep still holding whatever they were holding. And what I've found, both in my own practice and in working with clients, is that the end of the day is one of the most important windows for self-energy. Not because we need to do deep therapeutic work before bed. Please, don't do that. But because our parts need to know someone is home, someone noticed, someone cares about what happened today. Think of it like this. If you have kids, you know that bedtime is when all the feelings come out. Suddenly they're scared. Suddenly they're sad about something that happened at recess 6 hours ago. Suddenly they need to tell you something important. And why? Because the busyness stopped, the distractions fell away, and now there's space for what was underneath. Our parts are the same way. At the end of the day, when everything slows down, they finally have room to surface. And if we immediately fill the space with a screen, we're essentially saying, not now. I don't have time for you. What they actually need is a moment of acknowledgement, a moment of, hey, I see you. I know today was a lot. I'm here. That's it. That's the whole practice. It doesn't have to be 30 minutes of meditation. It can be 2 minutes of turning inward and saying, what are you carrying from today? And I remember a night a few months ago that really brought this home for me. It was a weeknight, and it had been one of those days where nothing catastrophic happened, but everything was just a lot. I had back to back meetings and sessions. Tessa and I were navigating a disagreement about something with kids' schedules. And this didn't happen, but it has happened on other days. The chickens had eaten all the plants on the front patio again, which can sound funny now, but when you're already stretched thin, chasing a chicken or a raccoon getting into the chicken coop can bring up stress. And so chicken eating from the tomato bed or tomato pot at 5 in the afternoon sometimes feels like the last straw. Maybe you've had those chicken moments or chasing dog moments or something like that that can be silly, but not right now when it's the last straw. And so by 9 or 10 o'clock, back to my evening, the kids were in bed. And I was laying in bed on my phone, wasn't even looking at anything interesting, just scrolling, feeling disconnected from my partner, tapping, scrolling. And I noticed this heaviness in my chest that I'd been carrying all day, and that disconnect between me and my partner and the heaviness that brought. And so after a bit, I put down the phone and I asked inside, who's here right now? What are you carrying? And what showed up surprised me and does when I remember to do this in those moments. It wasn't stress about the schedule or frustration about the chickens. It was a young part, maybe 7 or 8 years old, who felt like he hadn't done enough that day. Like all of those sessions, all of that output still wasn't sufficient, still wasn't earning him his place. And just briefly, just acknowledged and sat with him, didn't try to fix it, didn't argue with the belief. I just said, I see you. I know you worked hard today. You don't have to earn anything tonight. We're done for the day. And he softened. The heaviness in my chest released and was able to turn over. Not a long repair, but a little bit of reconnection with Tessa. And I went to bed actually feeling peaceful, not numbed out, but genuinely settled. And I thought if I'd kept scrolling, that part would have gone to sleep, still gripping that story of not enough. And it would have been right there waiting for me in the morning. That's the difference. That's what's available when we end the day with our parts instead of our phone. So here's what I'd invite you to try. And I want to keep this simple because If it's complicated, that scrolling part, who's doing the best that they can too, but they're going to win every time if it's too complicated. That part wants zero friction, so our alternative needs to be low friction too. And so tonight, when you'd normally pick up your phone, or when you notice you've already picked it up, just pause. Put it face down or across the room if you need to. Take 3 breaths. Then ask, who's here right now? What did you carry today? You don't have to close your eyes. You don't have to be in a special posture. You can be under the covers already. Just turn your attention inward and listen. Maybe a part shows up with an image or a sensation. Maybe you hear words. Maybe you just feel a shift in your body, a tightness in your shoulders softening because someone finally noticed. Acknowledge whatever's there. You might say internally, I see you. Thank you for carrying that today. We can put it down now. That's the practice. 2 minutes, maybe 3. And I promise you, the quality of your sleep, the quality of your morning, the quality of your relationship with yourself will shift, even just a little. Now, one more thing, because I know some of you are already thinking, Tim, I've tried putting the phone down and I literally can't. I hear you. I'm often one of you. And I want to say that's not weakness. That's a part with a very strong protective role, and it deserves your curiosity, not your criticism. You might even start here. Instead of trying to override the scrolling part, try turning toward it first. Hey, part that wants the phone right now, I see you. What are you afraid would happen if you didn't scroll tonight? Sometimes the answer is, I'm afraid of what we'd feel. Sometimes it's, this is the only reward we get. Sometimes it's, I'm afraid of being alone with your thoughts. Those are all valid. Those are all real. And when that part feels seen, it often relaxes its grip on the phone just enough for you to try the alternative. Not because you forced it, but because it felt safe enough to let you. That's how IFS works. You don't override protectors. We earn their trust, even the ones that keep us scrolling at midnight. So tonight, I want to invite you into an experiment. Just one night in the day with your parts instead of your phone. See what's showing up. See who's been waiting for you to turn inward. You might be surprised by what's been carrying you all day without any acknowledgement. And you might be surprised by how little it takes for those parts to feel seen. Sometimes all they need is for you to show up and say, I'm here. We made it through another day. Let's rest. That's self-energy. That's what our parts are looking for at the end of the day. Not a screen, not a distraction, just us, present, compassionate, home. Thanks for being here. And share this with someone who might need to hear it tonight. I look forward to connecting in the next session. That wraps up another episode of IFS Meditations and Insights. If today's episode was meaningful to you, please follow, subscribe, and share with someone who might need it. A positive review helps more people find this healing work. And don't forget, you can get your free IFS meditations and the Self-Led Pause Starter Kit at exploreifs.com. And until our next session, be gentle with yourself. I'll try to do the same because we're beloved human beings.